hierarchy pyramid. I take part of this concept out of a talk with Alexer. He once mentioned it, and I think a lot of what he said really structured things that I was already thinking, but I had not put into words. And so on top of this pyramid, we got the game devs who actually develop the games, right?
Mm-hmm.
The games will provide publishers access to platforms, and then the release of the gamers that would push forward any kind of like news journalism, or actually more so the community, right?
Right, like the
And
YouTubers, all that kind of stuff.
More than news and journalism, I would say content creators, which create content, right? That content goes to communities,
Yep.
and that community creates sales. And out of those sales, then there's the bottom of the pyramid, the absolute bottom of the pyramid are the bargain hunters and the random buys.
Yep.
So from top to bottom, we're talking game devs, publishers, content creators, community, and the bargain hunters and random buys, right? Outside of that, they're not going to buy. So if we understand this pyramid this way, that's how I've been addressing everything that I can do as a marketer, right? So in regards to game developers, like I know several game developers who wouldn't give faith to what I'm saying right now. Like I've been trying to give my best to help them in the things that they struggle on, and that's copywriting, that's knowing how or who to network with, the kind of ideas and budget that you have to assume to do like an influencer marketing campaign and this kind of stuff. I just want to give game developers enough tools and exposition to be able to create new games in a genre that a lot of people can enjoy. This goes from simple marketing knowledge and support to platforms and databases of contacts and sub-communities to approach. So
yeah,
the goal would be to achieve that exposition, sales, hype, and sales, right? And what have I done in regards to that? I've done a lot in regards to like marketing guides. I've created directories of Steam curators. I've been covering how people find your game, the customer journey, or the gamer funnel, how a gamer goes from not knowing your game to buying your game.
Right.
And it goes from attention, interest, desire, and action, right? So it's everything is a funnel. And I know that's the most markety sentence you can ever hear, but it's true. Everything is a freaking funnel. So I try to explain like how to approach, how to network different people. Like you cannot address the community the same way you would address a journalist. Because what does the journalist want? He wants clicks. He wants attention. So what do you have to give him? You have to give him a story behind what you've been doing. No, I've been a fan for years because in my country, I don't know, this and this and that. And that's what makes you stand out, the story behind your game and how you've been working on yourself for 3 years for this. That makes for a good story for him. So you have to address different people and be amicable, be like have some social leverage. If you help this guy and you help this guy, then they will help you back, and you make like a circle and a network of people helping each other, which is what I'm trying to push into the shmup game dev scene. Besides that,
yeah,
in regards to how Steam works, like there's the Steam capsule. The Steam capsule is everything that encompasses what your game is and how it's found. So changing the thumbnail.
Oh yeah, that stuff's huge. The trailer. Get that trailer down.
That stands out. Your trailer, the first 3 seconds of a trailer are the most important thing ever.
Yeah.
Make it stand out without sound. Because most people will have sound turned off or muted.
Yep.
Everywhere. Address the 5 W's and the H. Like, what, where, who, why, when. And with that, I mean, like, what is your game about? Like, what makes you stand out? what is your game?
And do not show footage of stage 1, for the love of God. Please stop doing that. Because
why?
Here's my feedback, because this is actually touching on something that I came super close to making a topic video about, but decided to wait a bit, gather my thoughts. But shmup trailers really need to step up, because there's been plenty of times where I'm going to go buy shmup. I've never quite heard of it. It's getting my attention, like you're saying. It's got kind of a cool thumbnail. It's got kind of a cool name. I go to watch the trailer, and it's stage 1. I can tell. Okay, I don't know what your game is like in stage 1. You need to start showing me like stage 4, stage 5. I need to see like the full-on gameplay, you know? That's just my thoughts. That's one thing you could at least do. Is do not show stage 1, damn it. Show like some later stages so we can see some action.
No, but like make sure everything that's a standout point or your unique value proposition or your game, make sure it's visible in your trailer, in your first 4 screenshots.
Yeah.
Right? Also, something that I see a lot is that I see a lot of people either going a long way to explain like the story and about the game and the story of the game without making it enticing for anybody. It's like super long descriptions that nobody's gonna read, and you're gonna lose interest, the interest from people.
Bullet points.
Just make it bullet points. And the other thing that most people don't understand this concept, but sell the benefit, not the feature. Like, don't tell me 8 stages full of all around action and whatnot. No, just sell me the benefit. Get the most out of your weapons, or feel empowered by all the weapons in the game to fulfill all the level design and stuff like that. The question that I'm making in my mind, you should answer it with a sentence. You should not put like just a feature just because.
Right.
You sell the benefit. You don't sell the feature.
Right.
And finally, one of the things that in regards to like copywriting and all that, put a freaking like call to action. If you haven't released your game and you're pretty far off, okay, tell people to follow you. If you are pretty far on and you're close to releasing, okay, then add to wishlist. If you're weeks from releasing, okay, play my demo, right? If you have already released, then for the love of God, buy my game. If you went on a date and you did everything and she's interested in you and you never go for the kiss.
Right, yeah,
no, man.
Exactly.
Like, it just, you know what I mean?
You're walking home empty-handed is what we're saying. Expectation that just the rest of the world will come and promote your stuff for you. It's hard for me to quite articulate what it is, but it's a mentality that I've seen in other places too, and they tend to be places that are failures. And then you go to places that are successes, and there's a better understanding of this. Like, there's a better understanding of, okay, self-promotion or promoting your product correctly is actually super important. That's just my little spiel I wanted to go on.
I understand.
Because I guess I'm making this because I could see game devs being shy about doing this. That's why I'm saying that. Because I could see game devs feeling like, oh, I can't promote my game too much because people are going to think I'm pushy or...
That's one thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I can agree on that. But game developers are it's more the fact that game developers usually, not always, but usually they fall in one of 2 categories. They're either like super into coding and they're really structured mindset, so they're not the kind of people to go network or socialize that much, or they don't have that same set of social skills that will allow you to network, and because very good at the other part. Or they're the whole other extreme, which is they're really, really, really freaking creative people who have been creatives all their life. And they're usually the people that are the artists, the musicians, either the animators, the pixel artists, or the 3D render guys that they study design and whatnot. And the problem with them is that they need to be a little bit more grounded. So they lack someone in the middle. And then when it comes to like marketing their game and whatnot, and since there's such a lack of that knowledge in an accessible manner, what ends up happening is that we get some publishers that are basically baiting good developers,
Mhm.
good games into bad deals.
Absolutely.
And I've seen this, and I'm not gonna
Well,
name.
we've already named the whole Devil Engine on this channel like 20 times. So the Devil Engine is like the prime example, I think.
Yeah,
For sure.
that's a great example. That's a great example. That's the example I was
Yes.
gonna give. But he's probably not the only one.
I'm sure that's true. I'm sure that's true.
And then these kind of publishers, they prey, on good developers that have been working for years, and then they basically give them the middle finger, which is not the idea. To conclude on the things and the initiatives that I'm doing for the game developers, besides having the marketing guides, besides like trying to give support and like some kind of semi-consulting to people and what I can help, there's also like a game dev and game composer and sprite and 3D artist directory, the directory that I'm doing, that I'm working on.
That'd be fantastic.
And this is like something that I've been working on for a while. The STG Shmups Steam Curator. I'm creating like a whole set and bunch of initiatives all under the same branding and the same name, which is STG Shmups. Why STG Shmups? Because STG Shmups are the two biggest words, like SEO wise.
Yeah.
I could go with shooter, and then shooter would point to like FPS games and Call of Duty and whatnot.
That's no good.
So
SEO
that's
wise.
why everything is under the same branding, under the same kind of name, under the same thing. STG Shmups Steam Curator. Why? I'm gonna tell you why. On Steam, like any other place, you want to be on the front page. To be on the front page, you can only get to the front page in one or of two ways. You either get featured or you either get recommended. And since we cannot tell and we cannot say how are you gonna get featured, then we can work on the recommended. You only get recommended by two ways. What are those two ways? Tags and curator recommendations.
I want to give a shout out real quick to a guy hit me up about this, actually. I think he's talked to you as well. I think it was Bad Player.
Bad Player.
Yeah. So,
Bad Player.
So let me give a shout out to Bad Player as well. He hit me up about this, and yeah, I assured him that we were going to talk about the tag stuff. So yeah, lay it on us.
I've been working. No, seriously. I've been working with a lot of game devs. Like shout outs to Fremrier from Dreadstar, shout outs to Shinu from Wings of Blue Star, shout outs to Jack Darks and Roserk from Team Gryvans Fox. Shout outs to a lot of people, and I know I'm missing some guys. So if you're hearing this, Ghostly Feline, Boghog as well. Like I've been trying to get and explain to all these people how it works, the tags. So tags are important. Anything else, like video tags, because I've talked this with you in regards to content creation on YouTube.
Yep, definitely.
Just like video tags, you want to have like tags that will give you notoriety, like exposition, but you want to balance it in a way that it's big volume. You want it to be super relevant and small competition if possible. So if you can describe your game in few tags that will perhaps tell you a lot about the game, and besides push you to be recommended for people who already like those kinds of games, then you're done. So, for example, bullet hell and shoot 'em ups are two in our niche. You need to have those.
Yeah,
you need to have
bullet hell is hot.
Indie, I would never go with indie. Why? Because indie, your game is indie. Yeah, sure. The tag is so freaking big.
Saturated.
It doesn't mean anything anymore.
Saturated.
It doesn't mean anything anymore. But what is indie? No, because you're gonna see like not AAA, but let's say AA games that have like an indie tag on it. Retro is a good one. Retro can be a good one. But I've been doing analysis with Game Data Crunch, which is a website that give like it aggregates a lot of other tools like Steam Database, like Steam Spy, and a lot of other things, just to do an analysis on the games that have been performing and how they perform. and the things that we can know, like the amount of reviews, the amount of time it's been on sale, average price, that kind of stuff. I've been doing that, and it tells you a story. It tells you a lot about what people are preferring and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
So
that's helped me on the YouTube side as well.
Yeah, like going for those tags is super important, and trying to find a tag that has good volume for you to be discovered within. At the same time that it's not saturated as much, so as to make you stand out on the Steam front page. When you see the front page, the thing that's on the top, you will get like, hey, you recommend this game because you've been playing games with the tags this, and that, right? Or because you've been playing X or Y or Z game, right? That's one of the things. But the other thing is the STG, the Steam Curator thing. Because if you follow a curator and that curator recommends a game, then you're gonna go to the front page for anyone who's following the curator. So imagine we can aggregate all the shmup indie developers into reviewing their games and adding recommendations or not, if they're not recommended, because we need to have like integrity.
We need
in our
to
opinion.
Curate. That's the point.
Yeah, exactly. We need to
that's,
curate.
That's super important to me. It sounds harsh, and it kind of is, but I do think that we got to be careful not to include games, because it's going to misrepresent the genre to people, right? Like shovelware.
No. I think.
Like all that kind of
let me get this straight. You need to not recommend stuff. Like when I say that, I mean you need to have negative reviews. You need to have them. If you have a curator and you only see good stuff, then either that curator is not doing a job at curating stuff, or that curator simply wants to avoid that. Like, you're not gonna trust that curator.
Well, that's what I was saying. I was saying.
Shout out to Nintendo Life. They absolutely understand the value of negative reviews and why they are important to maintain quality control.
If it's a bad game, we got to give it a negative
No, but I
review.
want to get this straight, because it can be interpreted in many ways, but you need to have like bad reviews as well. Like, hey, this game is not good for X, Y, and Z. Or I personally do not recommend this game and cannot recommend this game in the current state that it is. It's early access. It's got no support, and it's very glitchy. It's very open because this game is just too derivative. That kind of stuff. But that's why I've been assembling a team to help me out with a Steam Curator thing. I already document all the Steam Shmups that are there available, and I already look into the itch.io, and I'm already always looking into like dojins for myself. As a matter of fact, the first thing I did when I arrived into the servers was create a list of Steam Shmups worth a damn. That's the name of the file. I still got it with that name. So that's basically what I did, and I did a lot of categories, and I went categorizing games in each of those categories, and I got a huge list with more than 100 shmups that I would recommend. So that has helped me for other things. But what I'm trying to get at is that, okay, we have that. There are people that are liking shmups and they're just starting, and they go to look for other shmups, and they don't find anything for shmup. They find a lot of stuff that's irrelevant shooter.
Right.
And shoot 'em up also has a lot of, how can I say this without sounding like demeaning? Because it's got value, but there's a lot of stuff that it's not traditional arcade or
like twin stick shooters and stuff like
that. I
that.
don't want to sound conservative, because there are some twin stick shooters that have an appeal that would appeal to anybody who likes classic arcade style shooters. Stuff like, for instance, Assault Android Cactus. That game has a sort of like scoring system, semi-cave like, and yeah, it's a twin stick, but the scoring system it works. I can sort of appreciate that and give a recommendation to that game. But some of the other games that are basically Unity asset flips for your first twin stick game tutorial, that kind of thing,
or
like that,
I'm looking at right now, Serious Sam. Like, I typed in shmup it wasn't the first on the list, but in there was Serious Sam. So it's like, yeah, okay, that doesn't belong there.
That's the thing. So that's why I think we can do a very good job at aggregating. I got 4 people, including myself, in this team, and that's something that I'm working at. And everybody listening to this podcast, I think you're gonna see a lot of it very, very, very soon. I've seen the other relevant shmup curators. There's basically one guy called Shmup Life who basically stopped doing everything because he was doing it alone and he didn't see any positive effect on what he was doing. But nowadays he didn't understand it. But I'm telling you, like it's massively important to be able to push people into the front page and aggregate recommended content. And the guy came back like 2 weeks ago, by the way, by adding a recommendation for Wings of Blue Star. Then there's also this Japanese team curator. That's also pretty big. Shout outs to MQ. He goes by the name 2D STG Games. And he also does this, and he covers a lot of stuff I would have never even found, which leads me to another part, and that's that most of the Eastern Japanese developers that are going into Steam, they're marking their games as shooters, not shoot 'em ups, not bullet hell, but shooters. So they're making it a lot harder to find. That's a discussion for another moment.
Well, if you curated them, would they be a little bit more discoverable? Like if you went in there and curated it?
For sure.
Yeah. So there is something that we can do to help them.
Exactly. And the thing is that I've realized with my years of liking shmups, both like really into it and then passively, and now I'm really into them again. It's the fact that there's a lot of people who like these games, but there's no places to do the social interaction. There's like we need to unite. We need to unite the different communities. The French community, the Spanish community, the Brazilian community, from the West, the people from the East. We need to do that. The Japanese people have it all in the same place because it's been the same community for more than 40 years. For 40 years by now. But then we got like other stuff. And that's what I'm trying to get at. That covers the things that I'm doing for game developers. As far as publishers, which I would like to become one in the future, I think need to give publishers enough data sources from which to derive information, like to further increase the effectiveness of their efforts in order for them to be like successful in making their games stick. Like this includes a lot of data collection and directory creation to bridge the potential users they can get to their products. So my goal there is just creating that bridge from the potential audience with the final products with a data-driven approach. And how do I approach this? Well, basically, I've created, alongside Dazer, shoutouts to Dazer, I created a Twitch category.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Because it's simple. Nobody knows. A lot of people are interested in shmups. They don't know the names, and they are never gonna look for them in
Twitch
on stream.
Yeah, it's pointless
on streams. And streaming is one of the main forms of content consumption for people nowadays, and it's one of the main things that you can do. So I cannot control YouTube categories, although I've learned on how they create them for games or YouTube gaming, but I can control the ones from Twitch. right? So I created the category for STG Shmup so that we can all like have a data-driven approach. And for people that say they want to conserve their videos, their VODs, videos on demand and whatnot, you know how the fighting game community has a lot of YouTube channels just doing like, hey, top 10 highlights of the week, and all that kind of BS. We could have similar stuff, but just make it easy. Just make it the social let's bring the social interaction gaming experience of the arcade of the 80s to the 21st century. Let's make it visible to other guys that, hey, this guy's playing this game. That game looks cool. I want to see that clip. Hey, this guy is streaming. I'm gonna follow the category, right?
Yes.
And then I can use tools. I can use tools such as Solinome or the Twitch itself, since I'm the developer of STG Shmups, to have more data about it, so I can know the people that average the most amount of views, the people who have grown the most. For example, Umko, the Russian streamer. I don't know why people don't recognize him as a super player yet. He's one hell of a super player.
Oh yeah.
God damn.
I think
he did
Shmup Slam 2 last year. Like, he's really well known among the hardcore crowd. I don't know what to say, but yeah, I mean, he's awesome. He's a really talented player.
He's awesome, and he's had the most growth with the category. And the thing that I've liked the most is that we can aggregate the Japanese people. Why? Because up until now, we've had to basically rely on a huge list streamers that 2 people have, and that they've created like automated alerts for those streamers when they go live. But we can do that from Twitch itself by creating the category. So those are all the reasons, because it helps content creators create more content. It helps publishers to look at like hard data, streamers to actually know how they've been doing. What you don't measure, you don't improve. So I'm a big fan of measuring stuff and getting that data. That's why I did it.
Well, it's also great because it helped gather together everyone at a common entry point. So for instance, let's say you're an Aquas fan, right? And Aquas streams under this, and you watch Aquas's stream, and then you follow the category, and then Call comes on a few hours later. You would have never had known about Call's existence, except now that they're both sharing this category, the audiences can kind of filter and share and pool together.
Precisely.
That's huge. That's huge.
What I want. Not only that, but maybe you're a streamer, you got your big volume, and you want to raid another guy because he just finished your run or whatever. You can just go to the STG Shmups category and look who's streaming.
Yeah, exactly.
Who is streaming at the time. And then just go like, oh, this guy is streaming this. Boom, done. That way we can move together and move forward.
Right.
So that's the main thing about all the different initiatives I'm trying
from
to get
the viewer perspective. From the viewer perspective, let's say you wake up and you're like, okay, I'm in the mood to watch some Shmup streams. You can just look at the category and be like, okay, here are the Shmup streamers, right? You don't have to start shifting around, typing in, is anyone playing Dodonpachi? Okay, no one's playing Dodonpachi. Is anyone playing Ketsui? You know what I'm saying? That's another. So from the viewer side, it's also huge. It's really cool. It'd be crazy if YouTube had something like that. That'd be really cool. So definitely follow the category. I always stream under it.
You've been the second streamer with the most growth since the category started.
That's awesome.
Which goes a long way to say how much like Uncle has grown with the category in the past few months. But then other things for publishers, YouTube keyword and video tag research. That's something that I do. I do for content creators. I can do for publishers as well, just to do like give information and reports on what could be your possible audience, who would be important or relevant content creators that you can access as to create like an influencer marketing campaign, that kind of thing. That's something that I do. I do for the game devs already that I'm trying to help, that I'm looking for that metadata and just looking like, hey, you should contact this, and this guy, because this guy, it's the biggest under this keyword for that tag and whatnot. And on the other hand, like this content creator and community hub connections to facilitate marketing efforts. Like if we have a Facebook group, if we have a YouTube space, if we have a Twitch category, if we have a Twitter, if you have a subreddit, right? Then a publisher will have everything they need in one place under the same name. So they would just have to go there and they'll find their target audience, or at least part of their target audience that is likely to be the more enthusiastic about what you're offering. So that's the third thing I wanted to cover up with publishers, which leads me to the next initiative that I'm working on, which is basically content creators, to give content creators support into expanding themselves as far as they can go, and providing a framework for research, content creation, and monetization. What is the goal here? Growth, audience retention, SEO improvement, and monetization. You're living proof of that. I've also been in talks with other content creators, such as Shmup Junkie. Like I've talked with him around these topics as well. So what can I bring to the table, and what have I done so far? Is like giving SEO guidelines and content creation frameworks, like all the metadata optimization, all the keyword research, and more so than that, something I've been trying to make you guys like understand is how to monetize without making it sound or look as pushy to your audience, because you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of deal. Like I see a lot of people that start focusing a lot on content creation and they give up along the way because they say like, God damn, only the big guys are gonna survive. Only the big guys can do this. Only the guys who started like 5 years ago can do this. I'm putting a lot of effort and I'm not monetizing. And I'm like, how are you monetizing? Yeah, ad revenue. And I'm like, oh man, poor soul. Monetizing over only one income stream from your content, it's not gonna allow you to grow. Yeah, I see some people that go the Patreon route, but you can only go to Patreon once you got volume, right?
Right.
And that's not the only way. Like there's multiple ways to monetize. There's affiliate marketing kind of initiatives in which you don't have to compromise. You don't have to be those scammy people that they just push stuff
Raycon.
for the sake of
Pushing
their
your Raycon.
affiliate profit. Yeah, no, like you don't have to do that. You just gotta be honest and give a disclaimer. Hey guys, so like I bought all of this stuff, and yeah, I'm giving you links for this, and these are affiliate links. So if you're interested in buying one of these arcade sticks, for instance, it could help. Or if you can give some sort of benefit or discount, but that's not accessible to many people. And in the shmup space, really, it's more about the products, not so much about the services. But yeah, so that's basically the monetization part. The other thing that I'm providing them is hubs automation to push content through all the different traffic channels that I'm trying to create. I'm not saying I'm gonna go and I'm gonna, hey, share your thing everywhere, but I can automate that. So I can push into 3 Facebook groups whenever you post. And that's something that I'm already doing for the people that are creating shmup content but are not sharing. So I've just spent a lot of time initially automating that to make them grow.
Yeah, that's huge.
So finally we got community. So give the interested Shmuppers a community hub from which they can learn, interact, share, and expand, with the goal of maximizing both growth and retention of people in the scene through a collaborative effort, covering all the different needs, as well as giving the community the right tools for information or following everything that's going on. And this is where I make the comparison to the FGC. You know, like getting into fighting games, it's not easy, but at least you've got a community. You got Shoryuken forums. You got all the resources. You got like 3 or 4 or 5 books, big commercial hardcover books you can buy.
Right.
Right? We don't have that in Shmups. We have like 3 guides. They're just like hidden in the internet.
Yeah.
The Shmups as a whole, they're not as intuitive as one might think. And there's also something to be said about beginners who go into the enthusiast spaces, such as the Discords, and then they're super shy. And then people say like, yeah, nobody talks. Like if you're saying, yeah, you just gotta stream all bullets to make an aggressive cutback and then just point blank. And if you can do that before the second cycle spawns, you can time out the boss.
I don't think people realize, and this is kind of dawning on me more and more, especially as my channel's been getting bigger, is how small we are, the vocal group of people that we know, how small we are in compared to the massive silent audience of shmup players out there. Like there's this huge audience that we assume isn't there, but is there. Looking at my analytics and stuff, and it's there. It's definitely there. It's just that, like you're saying, we're not reaching them because we're just not even making a really full-hearted attempt to do that, right? Like you're saying, where if you just join a Discord, most people aren't going to show up and be like, yo, what's up? I've never played these games before. Let's do this. You know, most people are going to be shy about that.
I've seen people like go into in this past few months, I've seen a lot of people like come in like, hey, I just beat a Ghostblade. I think it's a great shmup. And then the people just slam him like, it's a meh game.
It reminds me of, this is an earlier podcast story, but in case people haven't heard the earlier episodes, is when I first got my Dodonpachi 1-all, back in the farm days, I went to go submit the score to the leaderboard. I was so excited. I'm so proud of myself. I got the 1-all. And at the time, they had this rule where if your score wasn't high enough, you couldn't actually submit your score. So yeah, I was like, okay, well, I literally cannot submit my score. So like stuff like that just needs to be really addressed, right?
Exactly. And that's why I've created Faces. This is more so in Elixir's channel server, but I've also tried to start initiatives in your server as well. The Beginner's Haven, a place where beginners can ask for help, recommendations.
Yeah, that's a great
and can access all the beginner info. There's just a whole bunch of stuff that we take for granted. The sentence I said like a minute ago, it's not far off from the way we talk. Yeah, you just gotta stream a lot of bullets and then get an aggressive cutback and point blank.
Make sure to seal the tanks. It's like, seal the tanks? What the f does that mean? Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's something I've been working a lot on, and trying to gather all the resources that explain all of this in a very good manner, which is what we don't have that the fighting game community has. And I think I've done a good job in aggregating all of that content and writing some of my own. I still need help to create these this videos showing this techniques. It's all about space control. It's all about that's why tap dodging is so strong.
How to Shmup Volume 4 is on the way, so you can add that to your list.
Well, that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was just one of the things. So I'm trying to create this omni-channel presence with STG Shmups in Facebook, Twitter, Discord, and Reddit. I've created a subreddit which aggregates all the content creators that I know for Shmups. And when I say content creators, I mean stuff that go above just a simple replay.
Yes.
Like your podcast, this podcast is going to be automatically posted on that subreddit because I've already created the automations. Same thing with Shmup Junkie. Same thing with Fro's Shoot the Core cast. Same thing, Bullet Hello cast. Same thing with Shmup Saturday guy.
STG
Jeff,
Weekly as
artist.
well.
STG Weekly as well. And that's actually one of the main resources that I put on the subreddit.
Aren't you also putting certain Twitters on there as well, like really useful Twitter accounts? Like, isn't Elixir's Twitter on there, right?
Like
And Plasmos.
The two main ones that I push are Elixir, because Elixir has been covering news around this niche for more than 10 years. And he has created a space, he has created this space for a community to grow, and like, he's done a lot, and the Shmup news is something that he has been doing out of just passion for shmups, right? So I push all his tweets into the subreddit, and I also push Plasmo, because Plasmo gives us updates whenever there's a new like world record. And since shmups are so like score oriented and we're so competitive, the enthusiast people are so competitive, I think it's great to have that.
Yeah, that's my favorite
right?
Twitter by far. So
Yeah, so those two Twitters, and there's some SoundClouds, there's some Spotify's that I transform into RSS feeds, and I just automate all of that. It took me a while to actually learn how to apply that, because I used to do that before, but not to this extent. But it's been fun. And I encourage everybody, like, check the subreddit on desktop and the new version. So it's going to be like new.reddit.com/r/STG Shmups. Because honestly, if you check the new Shmup version, it's all set up with I basically set up all the different art and all the resources that one might need, like scoreboards, guides, and I've automated a bunch of people who upload replays to YouTube, like Iconoclast, like yourself, like
yeah, that's cool.
a lot of people. I've automated those channels, so whenever they post a video, it gets automatically uploaded to the subreddit, and that way I have automated the thing that people are now willing to do. So I think that's good.
Yeah, it's like for the Reddit, it's like a giant one-stop shop for a ton of shmup content, and I know people get frustrated because they don't know, okay, where do I find a bunch of different shmup content? Well, there you go.
Yeah,
this is definitely a place to go for
there's
that.
There's some value to a subreddit, and or to a forum style, and it's the fact that people can lurk. Unlike
Discord, yeah.
On Discord it's different in how it works, because in a forum format, okay, people will just ignore you. Like if they're not interested in answering, if they're gonna ignore you. But if you go into public chat room, which is what Discord is,
yep,
then you're gonna get replies, and sometimes not the ones that you're looking for.
Right. Yeah,
There's
good to have both.
Product I'm working on. There's another project I'm working on, and it's to have like a Google Calendar that people can sync into from their phone, and so we can add any kind of shmup related event. That could be Shmup Slam, that could be Shmup Relay, STG Relay. That
Shoot
could
the
be
Baguette.
maybe
That's coming up.
Yeah, that could be maybe
also,
an M2 live stream.
Also,
or it could be anything.
Callus Cup. Got to put that on there. Callus Cup, that's the shmup tournament Dent runs.
Yeah, so we can add all of these things, we can add them to a Google Calendar, and then I can do an automation so that people, every time an event comes out in the calendar, also I'm gonna make the calendar like shareable, right? So people can just add it to their own calendar apps. Thing is that I can automate whenever one of these events comes out. I can automate a Discord message, a Reddit message, a Facebook post, a Twitter post, everything. So that way we wouldn't need to be like all the time on it and like overwork for something that's just a passion. That's a hobby for most people, but rather have all the events there, and then it would automatically post everywhere. And then we would reach the max amount of people that we can reach automatically without that much effort. That's why I try to simplify everything that I do. That's basically it for that part. But there's also one initiative that I've been pushing, which is Shmup Deals. Shmup Deals is automated. I have created a list. I have created a list of shmups on Steam, on itch.io, and on other storefronts, from which I keep adding and subtracting sometimes games, in order so that every time they go on sale, a tweet is made.
That's cool.
Right? Like a tweet is made and it pushes it. Why? Because remember the pyramid I was talking about? The bargain hunters and the random
Right,
buys?
yeah. Some people are all about that.
Yeah, exactly. That's one thing. And the other thing, in one part, it keeps bringing the topic. So you have a topic to do conversation about. Hey, Caladrius Blaze is on sale. It's always on sale, man. It's on sale like every 3 weeks. But what I'm trying to say is like, hey, it's on sale. Is this game good? Oh no, I don't recommend it. Why not? Oh, because this. We can foster like the interest and conversations around the shmups. And like people share that, people like that. It comes up in the feeds of everybody. And just to make a disclaimer, I'm not making any profit out of this, because when I launched it, there was some people that were like, I'm kind of tired of this, like cynics going like, hey man, this guy created a good business. Like shit, he's gonna be making bank. Who are we giving money to? And I'm like, I'm the guy who created this, and there are no affiliate links here.
It's more of a tool to help the publishers and developers so that it creates attention to when their games go on sale, so people buy them.
Yeah, exactly. And when games are released, it helps a lot, because it brings some kind of exposition. Because all games come out with some percentage of a discount, and that works to give you exposition in all the different like bots and game deals accounts and subreddits and Facebook groups and whatnot. It's a strategy. It's something that they do. But yeah, at first I was like kind of pissed. Like, hey man, like I've spent a huge amount of time like curating, adding games, checking everything, making everything work. For some guy for some cynic to be like going like, yeah, who are we filling? Whose pockets are we filling? And I'm like, damn, come on, man.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like hand, every step forward needs backlash. Like that's the cycle.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Exactly. But on the other hand, I can sort of understand if people thought about it, but you can simply check. You can click the freaking link and see the URL. You won't find any ref link there, any reference at all, because I'm not doing that for the money. I'm just doing that to help the scene. But yeah, so those are basically all the things that I'm working on. And as months go on, I've realized that I cannot multiply myself, I cannot clone myself, and I cannot make time go slower so I can outwork from the already limited time I got from like doing my other stuff. So what I've been doing lately is that I've been gathering teams and creating teams. So I got a team which is helping me with the Steam Curator project. I got a team from which now there are 2 moderators besides me on the subreddit, so it doesn't have to be me all the time. I got people like looking and helping me out with the other stuff. So I think, yeah, maybe in all, like the idea is to unite everyone who has an interest in the niche, regardless of place of origin, language, or level of interest. And I want to repeat that, because we gotta humble some people and we gotta encourage some others.
Like you're saying, deep in its DNA, shmups are a community-based genre, right? Like there is a social aspect to this genre, dating back to, like you say, back in the arcades. And so
back in the arcades, the social experience was a part of this.
Yes, and absolutely.
This is what I'm trying to get at. Like this is a sort of a virtual hub.
Right.
And this is just a door to bring arcade culture to the 21st century. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe everything that I'm doing, maybe it's not the way or whatever. But if I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail trying. And I've seen a great response from game developers. I've seen a great response from Steam curators I've been talking to. I've seen a great response from like people that are sort of doing like all the publishing stuff for small people. I've seen great response from the people who run these communities, and that includes you, and that includes Elixir, and that includes like other people around. I've seen great response from everybody, and yeah, it's just to encourage everybody to freaking be the change you want to see, and that's it, man.
For the whole community and also like individual people within it, right? Like the individuals like myself, your guidance has helped me immensely with understanding YouTube better and how to grow my channel more in like in a smart way. And I think also I really, really look forward to helping out the game developers because they're kind of like the lifeblood of the genre now. And
they are the top of the pyramid.
Yeah, and I feel for them in many ways. And one of my main goals of this channel is helping to support them as much as possible. And so I really appreciate you coming on the show, my dude.
Yeah, I appreciate you inviting me to the show, man. It's always cool to share ideas and yeah, just to give a little bit of a heads up on everything that I've been working on, because I've been working on all these stuff for months.
Yeah,
in silence.
You've been going
in absolute silence.
Yeah, I like I said, I respect the hustle a lot, and it reminds me a lot of what I've been doing too. Like people don't see all the work that goes on behind, underneath the surface.
Oh, thank you, man, and yeah, thank you for inviting me to your show. And remember, this is just an invitation to everybody to be the change they want to see.
Adios.